Hello everyone, this is Josiah from Each One Teach One. I am here to talk about something that I think should be very important to you. I think it's something that will pique your interest. I'm going to try to massage your thought process here so you can vacillate on some of the information I'm going to put out there. Now, I couldn't sleep, like as always. When something bothers me, I go into the mode of research. I go into a defense mode, I isolate myself, and I try to get to the bottom of it. This Chinese situation in Africa is bothering me. The reason why it's bothering me, not just because I was born in Africa, it's also because that the African people of African descent has been trampled on all over the world. And they really have no resting place except for the motherland where they came from. And at this time when the world economy is changing and the dynamics are changing, a new world order is coming in, and we seeing the Chinese moving really fast to occupy the African domain. The question is, why is this? We know that the Europeans came and stayed in Africa, did their dirt, and took advantage of the Africans. However, those times are long gone and past. There's a new era where the plantation has changed from a slave workhouse to workforce, and we're in that plantation in various countries that we live in. But now there's something new happening. It's called neo-colonization. I try so much to understand what the Chinese are doing. So what I came up with is, first of all, I went online and I searched for their plans and their ideas. I started reading their books and making friends with some of them that are around me to find out what they really think. And I found out that they really think to be superior. They are very proud people. They call themselves Hans. So that means a lot. So I started digging in to get more information. I realized that in the South, in the Asian region, they consider themselves to be the superior race. It doesn't matter. And they don't see eye to eye with the Japanese. The Koreans are okay, or Koreans used to be vassal states to them, okay? And there's a problem between them and the Koreans during the Manchurian period that caused issue with Japan. That's why them and Japan, they don't get along. So that's a story for another day. So I looked at all their classics, their books they consider classics, like the work of mentees, Tao Te Ching, Art of War, which is Sun Tzu, everybody knows that. And then the Doctrine of Mean, which is more mathematical explanation of things in a philosophical way. And then they have the Confucius Analects. So bringing you to that point, Confucius Analects, it has a way of presenting matter in a Pacific format. But I really don't think that's what the Chinese are doing. I think they're trying to use that to lay down the rules, just like the Europeans came to Africa and brought Christianity. Now, it's so sad that I must tell you this: the religion, organized religion, has nothing to do with one's spirituality. God has given humans the ability to know the right from the wrong. But what the religion does is to help you, to put you in check at all time. However, if care is not taken, you will not be able to think practically if you're going to assume and just hope that when you pray and fast, your problem will be solved. I describe that as somebody going into a trance, while in fact they could possibly have been doing something practical activities to enhance their situation. But you go into a trance and hope that when you come out of the trance or dream that your problem will be solved. This is a futile hopelessness. That's what I call that. So now, when I look at it, they're coming up with Confucius as a pacifist institution, right? While in fact what they're doing is they're using Confucius to deceive you or to hypnotize you so that you will not think properly. Now, when you are interacting with them, they're coming from that perspective of being peaceful and nice, Pacific, and don't fight war, don't do this, don't do that, just be righteous and humble and nice. But at the same time, they are conditioning your mind. Once they condition your mind, that's how they're going to get what they want from you. So while you are being Confucius, learning martial arts or whatever, they are taking your land. And when somebody takes your land, they take your blessing. So what I found out the Chinese were doing, they were trying to fulfill the plan, strategic plan they had for 100 years. They are running. They just finished their 13th year, which means every year is 5 years. Every number increment is 5 years. So 13 is 65. They ended that in 2020, which is this year. That's where it ended. And what they were doing with that was pretty much sustainable development. That's what they were doing with in their 65 year. I mean, in their 13th year, which is 65 years. And now they are going into, what they were doing in the 13th year is economic and social development. Now they are going into sustainable development, which is under the 14th year. The 14th year plan. That's what it is. So now, when you look at all these plans that they had, I tried to explain it to you guys before in their 13th year plan, which is social development. As you can see here, there's capital accumulated led growth and innovation led growth, integrated urban rural development, green development, inclusive development, and finance and state-owned enterprise reform. These are under their economic and social development. That's where Africa finds itself. Not only that, Africa finds itself on only the integrated and urban rural development. As you can see, they have a detailed plan of exactly what they want to accomplish all across the world. Africa is not the only people that they are abrasively and gradually, hypnotically encroaching. They are encroaching other powerful nations, but they have different approach to every nation that they go to, every nation that they meet. Like in the case of the United States of America, they try to do push all kind of abusive substances in to destabilize the situation. They are doing all kind of stuff, planting their people in positions of power where they can influence the politics in the U.S., buying all the properties in the U.S., putting money in the U.S. economy so that they can own stuff. When during this COVID period, they bought a lot of stuff in the U.S. That's what they're doing, and they always buy U.S. deficit so that they can have that against the U.S. So they're doing a lot of stuff, sending bad stuff, sending rogue electronic equipment, which is causing the U.S. to come up with policies and regulations to curb and empower the supply chain. So, from what I've read so far, I think they are applying the same strategy in the period of the Warring Kingdoms, when they had the 7 states fighting over them, fighting over one another, like the Wei, Shu, and Wu, state of Wu, and the rest of them, Qin, and all that little state that were lying around. So this is a warring period, and they want hegemony. I think they have fulfilled the hegemony, but the military might still lies with the U.S. So the play right now is Africa. Everybody, the question is, why is it every nation is scrambling for Africa in this turn of the century? Because they understand that whoever grabs Africa rules the world. Just like when the Arabs were coming up and throwing their weight around in the world, they know they needed the Big Apple, which was Austria at the time. So the thing is, whoever gets Constantinople, which is present-day Turkey, will win everything. So Constantinople, which is Turkey, is a bridge between the East and the West, and is where all the resources passes through. Spices and gold, all those great stuff of old that were used to foment, raise nations and build nations is found in that crossroad. So now the same thing in history is playing out itself again. We're in the turn of the century, the very beginning of a new century. China is here trying to make a move on Africa and take Africa in a clever way. So they give predatory loans. African leaders are not smart enough to understand what's going on. Most of them are over 50 years old or more, and they are just sitting there thinking that that everything is normal as usual, that business is as usual. Business is not as usual. The world powers are trying to use information technology to foment a new direction in the world. They want a one-word system, one-word everything, whereby it will be easy to have that visibility and that not necessarily transparency, but transparency is the ones with the biggest gun, transparency for the ones with the biggest gun, and visibility for the ones with the biggest gun, and security and protection for the one with the biggest gun. That's what democracy is all about, okay? Now, the point I'm trying to raise here is, if you look at the operation of the Chinese in Africa, they are bringing their people in droves. They are like locals or roaches. They check in, they never check out. And their government is deliberately doing this. The CPP is supporting most of the businesses that's coming to Africa. And they are encouraging them to plant the Chinese flag there. And that's how they map strategic places in China. Their satellites will see those strategic places. Africa should wake up and understand that this is not the time to allow anybody to come into Africa. You can do business with them. Do not allow anybody to own anything in Africa. The time is not right. The time is a time for Africa to call its human resources and its scientists, engineers, and business men and women, call them together and come up with task forces in various areas, whether it's technology, software development, or engineering, or medicine, or telehealth, or any of those. You should call all those people and create an avenue for the diasporans to return, especially those that weren't born in Africa, the blacks in UK, Caribbean, and United States. There should be a policy in place that allows them to come back and take their full citizenship after 5 years, as long as they come in qualified to start and provide business opportunities with them and their family. Because they can come right away and become citizens, but you have to test and try and see the motives of these individuals that are returnees. They have to get used to the people. As a matter of fact, you need to learn, you need to understand whether or not they can fit in and be a part of the society. But I don't think anybody should be having any problem or a doubt about somebody who's a black person that wants to return. They could be provided the opportunity to return right away and give them the right of abode with a period of 5 years to take up their citizenship. It shouldn't be an argument once you are black, you're African, and you're a descendant of Africans, regardless. So if we can do this and allow the diasporans to return in droves with their financial or economic power, so that they can command respect and get in contracts all across Africa, it will help, because all of these people bring a lot of understanding, not only of the Western Saxons or white people, but also other people they have met in those regions or part of the world they came from. You know, the dynamics and how people strategize and tactically make moves are something that individuals can master from a different angle. But when they formulate a team to put all this together so that we can interpret it and it becomes our understanding of a group of people, it goes a long way to help not only ourselves, but our youth, our family. And the government should try so hard to understand technology and why technologies are built, so that they can know how to put in regulations and policies to stop or create entry points, or to be able to create filters to remove the nuisance or to remove those that are trying to use up the system. It's not proper for non-Africans to own properties in Africa or buy properties in Africa without an African being involved in it. And anybody that's buying a property in Africa should be identified and known as a person who is systematically allowed to be in that space. That's how it's done in the West. Okay? If you want to do anything in the West, they have to know you. You have to have an ID to identify who you are. Same should apply in Africa. And the Chinese should not be trivialized or taken lightly. They have an agenda, a very powerful and strong agenda. Remember, years back, they used to have a one-child policy, and now I don't know exactly what they're doing with it. It seems like it's gone away. But the plan is for their people to move on to Africa. And that's what they're doing. You have 700,000 Africans in China, yet you have over 1 million Chinese in Africa. Is that fair? Is there anything fair about these numbers? There's nothing fair about these numbers. You see, they're up on us. They're moving really fast, and while we're in slumber, we should rise and wake up from our slumber and work amongst ourselves. Africans are disunited with their cousins in the diaspora. The more we are disunited, the more that they're going to take the land from us, and we're going to be slaves in the land of our birth, as well as slaves in all the lands of all the naturalized territories that we live in. This is crazy that I'm saying this. It is about time that people wake up and start doing something drastic. I have been able to study this Chinese strategy and kind of figure out what their aim is. Their aim is simple. They are trying to depose the one strongest power we have on the planet. They are trying to gain that through the capitalization of Africa, through getting a hold of Africa. They know if they own Africa, the youngest planet, the youngest continent on the face of the earth, they own everything. That's why they're buying up everything. That's why you see the white people going there, Russians going in there, because they understand the game. Africa is the food on the dinner table, like Lumumba said. Don't forget that. And the Africans themselves, if there's food on the table, shouldn't be under the table while the food is on the table. Africa should rally around their tech builders and start building infrastructure, start building platforms, start building media, start building social media, teleconferencing, integrated technologies to be able to perform and to be able to have their say without infringement and censorship. We should work together. We shouldn't be focusing on only our individual work. We should find a way to work with another fella, and we should cross platforms. We should talk to other folks and see how we can collaborate and become a coalition, a powerful unit. It's difficult to take down a unit that is fused together with different arms and branches. It is easier to isolate a person or an entity by itself, but it's hard, very hard, to dismember a whole coalition of people. It's difficult to take that down. So that's coalition. What the Africans have to do is form a coalition amongst themselves, whether it's in the medical field or in the tech field or in the engineering field or in IT field, whatever it is, form a coalition. And we have to find a way to fund our projects, because the VCs find it very difficult to fund our projects when it's not helping. When it's making money but it's helping the emerging market more, or even if it's helping the emerging market more but it has the potential to go out of hand where they can't control it, they have a problem in funding those kind of projects. So we have to find a solution on using our great number to fund projects. For instance, in Africa they have about 1.2 million people, but when you look at the Africans in diaspora, they are over 1 billion. If somebody take their time to count it, you realize that if they're not up to 1 billion, you're talking about 800 million. Just concentrate on all the big cities in the world. You'll find the African populations are great. Just in Germany, there's 700,000 Africans there. Okay, see, 700,000, that's almost 1 million. And count 10 more big cities in the world, you will realize that it's almost 1 billion. So with that, and the number that's currently in Africa is 2.7, or almost, let's say, 2 billion people. So you see the number is greater than the Chinese people and greater than the Indian people as well. All these people are doing copy and paste. Look at how far they have gotten. And they have strong policies that stops foreigners from owning anything in their land, doing anything in their land, and coming into their land any kind of way. Africa should follow suit and create such policies. They also have policies to defend their territory in the digital realm and defend their territory in the physical realm. I mean, border-wise. They have all those policies. They also have data policies that protect the information of their citizens, which Africans don't have. So we have a lot of work to do. This is not the time to be a category king. This is the time to be a part of a member, a part of a team, or member of a team. This is not the time to be to run a one-man show or a lone wolf. This is not the time. The Chinese have a strategy, and it's a solid and strong strategy, and they are willing to do anything to accomplish it. They are willing to fool you as much as they can to get what they need. They bring you the Confucius Institute and give you whatever, but their goal is to kick you off that land, or you're not going to be in that land. They're going to be in it, and you're going to slave for them forever. That's their main goal. Check. Take note of that. I've given you the tip today, and I hope you think through it and do your research, and maybe you will get more information and shed more light on some of the stuff that I'm talking about. No country, like I said before, no country will give you anything for free. Every country is about their interest. As long as their interest is foreseeable by them and they can get it, they will work with you. If not, they don't need you. They don't want to do nothing with you. Africa should adopt the same policy and go for its interest regardless, no matter what. And now, on closing, I want to say that Each One Teach One is dedicated to helping African youths, which supposedly are our focus in helping African youth to make inroad in engineering and information technology or software development. And we're serious about it. We want to hear from you. If you really want to learn anything in this area, we want to work together on it as a team. And we encourage everybody, anyone in the continent or outside the continent, to reach out to us, to work with us, so we can reach our goal of informing and creating creating value, so that we can bridge the knowledge gap amongst our youths who are now working really hard to study. And we also want to take the initiative to let you know that we want to build applications that will help our people to make payments, or even provide a freelancing website that is indigenous to us and which we own. But we cannot do this without you guys' help. That's why I'm putting out these videos, educating every one of you, so that you guys can see the vision that I have, so we can attack it. This is also in line with Dr. Arikana Chiwombori Koi, what she's trying to do. But if we can make it easier for her, that would be so great. So our focus right now is we're running a campaign. The campaign is to support an application which we built that will protect your information. This application has 6 modules. You can send a secure SMS, make payments. It has a storage in the cloud capacity where you can store secure information in the cloud. And it has the same thing for either Azure or AWS as well. And it has a crowdfunding aspect of it. So this is more like an African WeChat or African TikTok or Weibo or whatever they call it. But it has a lot of modules on it, and this is the way we want to go. And it's 2048 bits encryption, which is better than any other encryption that's in the globe right now. So we need you to support us, and check the link out and go there and on Kickstarter. I think it's gonna start in 2 days time. I'll post the time when you guys can go in there and start donating, so that we can finish this app and get it working for you. It's a free app. It costs you nothing. And to send money, you're going to send money free. The only way we make money is through other features that's built on there. So I need you guys to understand the importance of this, and for you to work with us. I'll put out the URL below before I post this. I thank you guys for listening and for paying attention to my rants this evening. This is Josiah from Each One Teach One. And I don't know a lot, but whatever I know, I'll share with you guys. Take care now, and goodbye. Till next time.